All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm already inspired, I'm already amazed, so I'm sure let's keep the train moving. So I have a very strange and important question to ask you first. How many of you are legal? Legal? Yeah? Everyone? Everyone? You consider yourselves legal, right? You pay your taxes. I hope you don't drink and drive. All of those things, right? Anyone illegal? Anyone? I am illegal. I'm a proud illegal lesbian. So I'm sure some of you, or most of you, I hope, know that recently, just last month, the Supreme Court ruled on IPC 377, which again made illegal the act of sex that is against the order of nature. Now this is something that actually, believe it or not, affects all people, straight people, it affects everyone. But it's actually a law that's specifically targeted at harassing people who are gay, lesbian, queer in any way, transgender, intersex, all of these things. So why does different have to mean illegal? Now, when this ruling came out, of course we were all shocked. But I'm actually a professional. I'm experienced at being illegal. This was nothing new for me. Why? Because I used to be an officer in the US Air Force. And there was a law called Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which prevented gay and lesbian people from serving openly in the military. This was just a couple years ago. And what do you do if you're illegal anyway? Does anyone know what do you do? I personally chose to protest. So for 1 year, I campaigned around the country with dozens of friends, basically doing protests and civil disobedience acts. We were handcuffing ourselves to the White House fence. We were staging sit-ins in politicians' offices. We were stopping 8 lanes of highway traffic in different cities. We were basically at work on Friday. We'd be protesting on Saturday, in jail Sunday, and back at work on Monday. It was a very interesting experience. So the law changed just 6 months after I was kicked out. And what I learned from this experience, though, was that change is actually possible. We can actually make change. When you have the right people and the right strategies, you can make change. So what about all the people who can't be heard? Their voices can't be heard because they're illegal. How are they supposed to protest their way to equality? How are they supposed to make their voices heard? What about sex workers who are illegal? What about their children who are illegal or illegitimate? Everyone believes that these kids, and we just accept it willingly, right? They're illegal, they're illegitimate, whatever they are. But the fact of the matter is, I believe that these kids, the girls and their mothers, can also protest their way to equality. So 3 years ago, along with several other women, I started Kranti, which is an NGO that empowers girls from Mumbai's red light areas to become agents of social change. And our core belief is that marginalized girls, because of the experiences that they've had, if they had access to the same education, training, and opportunities as girls or children from more privileged backgrounds, not that they would be just as good of leaders, but that they'd be far better leaders because they're more compassionate, more resilient, more innovative. And our programs have been quite amazingly successful. I can't tell you though what it's like to grow up in a red light area. So I have along with me Rani, who is going to share a little bit of her story.
Hi. Hi, I'm Rani and I'm 13. I love clothes, reading and dancing. But most of all, I love talking. I dream of being an actress. I have caring my mother and 2 old brothers. It's like normal teenage life, right? I grew up in red light area, Kamatipura, Asia's biggest red light area. Yes, and my mother is sex worker. I grew up in red light area. I love to wear clothes. What is my favorite? But that also donation. I love read, but my teacher said, what do you read? So I said, no, only story and book, that all. So my teacher said, what do you to read this? You are a sex worker's daughter and you do that. And then I go to nervous. So, and then crying, that all. Then I live up in red light area. That why all teachers are don't behave me like, oh yes, you are so sweet, that all. But every teacher will hate me. And then I, since when I had 10 years, it is my normal life to wake up and fill the water for them, to my family. Then fill the water to my family. मेरा रोज का था कि मैं 4 बजे उठती थी पानी भरने, तो तब मैं उठती थी तो मम्मी मुझे उनका मोबाइल देती थी अलार्म के लिए, तो मैं उठती थी, देन पानी वानी भरती, मम्मी सो जाती थी, तो मैं रेडियो लगाती थी। तब मैं कुछ डांस क्लास ऐसा कुछ नहीं था, तब मैं क्रांति में भी नहीं आई हुई थी, तो मैं रेडियो लगा के हमारा एक बेड रहता था, उस पर मैं डांस करती थी। लेकिन तब मम्मी उठती थी और काकी के सब आजू बाजू के उठ के, चौथे कीपर भी उठता था और मुझे बहुत चिल्लाता था, तू क्या कर रही है इतने सुबह सुबह, चुपचाप से सो, सुबह स्कूल जाना है, ये वो। मुझे तो ऐसे करके मुझे डांस भी करने नहीं मिला। और बाद में फिर थोड़े दिन बाद 6 महीने पहले मैं क्रांति में आई, जो कि सेक्स वर्कर के डॉटर के साथ काम करता है, और वहाँ पे मैंने ये सीखा कि लाइफ में एजुकेशन इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है। जैसे मुझे अभी डांस में इंटरेस्ट है, तो इसलिए मैं नेक्स्ट ईयर अमेरिका जा रही हूँ डांस परफॉर्मेंस के लिए। तो इसलिए मुझे डांस में इंटरेस्ट है और एक्टिंग में भी इंटरेस्ट है, तो मैं बड़े होकर एक्टर बनना चाहती हूँ। और जब मैं 10 साल की थी तो मेरे साथ अब्यूज़ हुआ, तो मेरे सौतेले भाई ने किया था। देन मेरी थेरेपिस्ट ने मुझे बोला, क्रांति में थेरेपी मिलता है, हम लोग को डांस मिलता है, मूवीज देखने मिलता है। तो मेरी थेरेपिस्ट ने मुझे बोला, जो भी तेरे साथ हुआ है अब्यूज रेप, वो तेरी गलती नहीं है। तो मैं एक टीचर बन के सबको, सारी लड़कियों को समझाना चाहती हूँ कि अगर रेप या अब्यूज कुछ भी उनके साथ हुआ है, तो डर के ये सोचते कि उसमें मेरी गलती है। तो मैं चाहती हूँ कि उन लोग ये नहीं सोचे। और क्रांति में जैसे हम लोग आज बहुत सारे लोगों के सामने स्पीच देते कि मेरा अब्यूज हुआ, ये वो, तो हम लोग, उन लोग भी ऐसे बिना डरे सबके सामने बोल पाए। और इसलिए मैं ये स्पीच थिंची, ये मेरा पहला स्पीच है क्रांति से, और मैं इसमें आगे बढ़ना चाहती हूँ और डांस ये सब एंजॉय करना चाहती हूँ।
So sorry, we thought we'd try that in English, but maybe it was just better to stick to. So it's a really special day for Rani. Not because she's giving a speech or talking in front of you guys. She's actually spoken in front of 15,000 people already. She's given classes to 7,500 kids on child sexual abuse, on trafficking, on sex workers' rights, and gender inequality in 7 different cities across India. It's a special day for Rani because today was her first time on a plane to come here. And just like every poor child in the world, Rani has spent years. She spent it in the red light area. Many kids spend it in slums, but she spent it looking at all the planes flying overhead and wondering, will I ever get a chance to be on that plane? So I wanted to thank all of the team and all of you for making that day possible for Rani. Okay, so I want to share a few more stories of the women that we work with who are illegal women. So this is Syra. She's one of our girls. She's 15, and she's illiterate. She's been in school in 5 different languages in her life, but her passion is sex workers' rights, and she wants to be an activist. And she was also abused for 5 years by her father, raped almost every night. And she is also somebody who likes to talk around the country and really share her story. And just like Rani said, talk about the fact that she wants to teach girls, it's not your fault. It wasn't your fault, no matter what India or anyone tries to teach you. So her mom, Zarina, was trafficked she's from Andhra Pradesh, and she was trafficked at the age of 9. She had no school, no health care, no access to anything, and somebody sold her off, basically to run the family. So she was forced, I'm sure you guys have heard all these stories, how they put chili powder in the girls' vaginas to force them, break them in to be able to do sex work. And this happened to Zarina as well. And eventually one of her customers, who was seeing her for quite a while, said, "Come and marry me." So then she ended up in Nellore and had 4 children. And then this husband actually turned out to be really abusive, violent, drunk, and clearly was raping Saira as well. So this mom left, and she went back to Kamatipura, the only place she knows how to earn and where to earn. So now this mom, I cannot tell you how amazing she has been of a resource for Kranti for the past 2 years. She has referred 7 different girls to Kranti because she cares about every single teenage girl in the red light area. And she's so worried that no little girl should go through what she went through. When we had to make, one of our girls went abroad last year, and when we had to get her passport made, her mother was a trafficker. And there was no way to get the documents to get the passport made. And Zarina posed as her mother, essentially. We got fake IDs made, we did the whole process, and Zarina posed as her mother, so she was able to go abroad. This is an illegal woman in India. This is Tanya and her mother. Tanya's mother grew up in Kolkata and was an orphan, and at the age of 6, she started working as the chai wali, to bring chai to people working in a market. And then as she got older, somebody clearly got the great idea that I can earn a fortune by selling her. So she was also trafficked, and she came to Mumbai. She was working there for 10 years, and then she gave birth to Tanya. She put Tanya in an NGO, so she wasn't around the red light area. And then when Tanya was 12 years old, she brought Tanya home because she had been living with a man for 4 years who was a long-term customer. And then 3 days after she brought Tanya home, she disappeared. No idea where she was. And this man, who had been her long-term customer, started telling Tanya that your mother is gone and you are now my wife, and started abusing her as well. He also said, she's dead, I've buried her, I've taken care of the rituals, and you're never going to see your mother again. Tanya, when she was 16, just couldn't take the abuse anymore, and she got up and ran away, and through somebody found Kranti. So we took her in, and we decided in order to get legal status to take care of her, we needed to get a death certificate for her mother. So we contacted a CBO, and they said just bring a photo of the woman. Tanya had one photo of her mom, and she gave it to Zarina, who said, "This woman's not dead, she lives in the brothel next to me." And she took me the next day to meet the pimp and the man who runs the brothel, and basically had been holding her captive there for 3.5 years. And I didn't know the situation, but I went in and I said, "Here's the papers, please just sign. I don't care if I ever see you again." And then she started telling me the story. So then after 3.5 years, we brought Tanya to Kamatipura, and she met her mom after 3.5 years. This story was 6 months ago. And on December 27th, a few days ago, Tanya's mom passed away from TB. And this has been a really difficult experience for all of the girls and all of us. But it was thanks to Zarina that she had those 6 months with her mom at least. This is Ashi and her mother. Ashi's mom also was a Devdasi from Karnataka, and she's been in Mumbai most of her life. She has 3 daughters who were all born in Mumbai. And she's just an amazing, amazing mother. When we look at the difference in our girls of who's psychologically balanced and okay and who isn't, and the girls even who have been raped and even who have been through a lot of violence, if they have loving mothers, caring mothers, they're still okay. So this is Ashi, and she's actually the middle child of the 3. And the oldest daughter is named Shweta Katti, and maybe some of you have read about her. Last year, she became the first girl from a red light area ever to study abroad. So she's currently studying in New York, and she wants to study psychology and come back to Kamatipura and start a mental health center here. And this is illegal woman number 3 that I'd like to share the story of. So lastly, I think that this just comes down to a matter of what does illegal mean in this country? For all of these women, imagine how many vandanas and pinkies and zarinas there are out there in Kamatipura. Imagine how many Ranis there are, not just in Kamatipura, in Mumbai, in India. And these are the people that we as Indians choose to make illegal. So, back to my original question, are you legal? I'm guessing most of you still are, and most of you are pretty proudly legal still. All I hope for is that you think about these women, about me being illegal for being lesbian, and the next time that you have the opportunity, whether it's through a protest, whether it's through speaking up to media, whatever it's through, talking to your friends, I hope that even if you're legal, that you will choose to support the rights of those who are illegal in India. Thank you.